In this video, I'm going to show you how to record a macro. First, you need to have the developer tab to make it easier, so you can click record macro right here. You can do it in other places, but that's the easiest. If you don't have the developer tab, go to File, go to Options, then go to Customize a Ribbon. Make sure the developer tab is checked, and you'll have the developer tab. Then you're going to record the macro, but first you have to make a decision if you want to have relative references or not. This will mean if you don't have relative references, if you do something in a cell, it stays there. If you have relative references selected, then if you move, the Excel is going to move with you, or the macro is going to record with you. So click record macro, give it a name. I'm going to call it con format because I want to do some conditional formatting because that's easy. You can name it anything you want as long as it's not a name that's already taken. You then need to give it a shortcut key. All the lowercase keys are taken, so give it an uppercase key. I'm going to do Shift A because it's easy on the keyboard to do Control Shift A. You can store it in this workbook. If you do, you need to save this as a macro enabled file. You can store it in your personal macro workbook. They'll be good for everything in your Excel or in a new workbook. So we'll keep it here. You can add a description if you like. You need that for your colleagues. You need that for your future self. When I click OK, everything that I'm doing will be recorded. So clicking OK. I'm going to go down 2 columns, over 2 columns, and I'm going to go home. I'm going to do thick borders. I can do Control B, Control I, or I can just click the underline, either one. I'm going to choose some type of formatting and some type of background like that. And I'm doing this just to show you things that you can do with a macro. What I use a macro for is if I have repeated things that I do, I don't have to repeat those keystrokes. I want to be able to do it quickly. So maybe I find in a spreadsheet a number that triggers something for me, then I need to go down some number of rows, over some number of columns, and then give some type of formatting. So anytime there is a process that's repeated that you don't want to do those keystrokes, recording macro does it for you. Once you're finished, stop recording. And now Control Shift A. What it did, it went down a certain number of rows and over a certain number of columns, and it did what I asked it to do. So that's really it.